What's up, guys? Visuals MMA here. Today, I'm going to be going over the top 10 super fights of 2022, starting out with Russia versus USA. Number 10, Khamzat Chimaev versus Bo Nickel. This is a massive, massive fight. Russia, USA, it doesn't get much better. They're both undefeated, both really, really good wrestlers. Khamzat, obviously, with that explosive power. I think this fight's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen in 2024, is why I've put it on the 10th place, but Hamzat fought Usman on 7 days' notice, so things can happen. I think Bo Nickel, obviously, he's been on every pay per view he's ever, every time he's fought. Same thing with Hamzat. He's a massive name, especially in Abu Dhabi and Russia. So I think this fight would be incredibly awesome. Moving on, who's more American? Sean Strickland versus Colby Covington. And this is a great fight. The trash talk would be out of this world. Like, really, just I think it'd be one of the greatest fight weeks ever. The fight, I can see Sean piecing him up if it's at 85. I don't know if Sean would move back down to 75. So I can 70. Sorry. So if it happens at 85, I see Sean piecing him up. I think this would be a great fight. Really special fight week. Both going at it. Yeah, I don't know how to explain how good this fight is without just saying, Sean Strickland and Colby Covington in a ring together and they hate each other. What more can you say? Moving on, striking wet dream. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Israel Adesanya is a great fight. Obviously, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, he's beat Robert Whitaker in the strike and he knocked him out. So Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, I think he could do well at 185. He's never tried it before. And you know what? This is the fight I want if he ever moves up. Adesanya, obviously a contender right now. If Adesanya loses to a Hamzat or if he loses his next fight, this would be a really great pay-per-view co-main event. Adesanya, obviously an amazing striker. He's shown his caliber against top middleweights. And do I really need to say why Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's one of the best strikers, if not the GOAT striker in the UFC? No, he's awesome. He's paid his dues. They just fed him to Shavkat. Like, give the guy a break. Give him a fight that will reward him handsomely. He's 40 years old now. Let's get it done. It's just an awesome fight. Two legends of the sport, in my opinion. I hope you guys like that fight. Moving on. I'm the GOAT forever. Yeah. This is what John Jones needs to do. That's the quote I got. Like, if he wants to be the GOAT forever, I think he has to beat Tom Aspinall. He needs to beat the next generation of heavyweight fighter. And Tom Aspinall has been told to be that. Ciryl Gane lost to Francis Ngannou. Tom Aspinall's never lost to Francis Ngannou, so it would give him a bit of leverage over everyone else. Where Ciryl Gane, it's like, oh, he lost to Francis, so John never fought the best heavyweight. Fighting Tom Aspinall would put him one step forward to being the best of all time, and especially if he beats Tom Aspinall in any way. To be honest, Tom Aspinall's a very tough opponent. If he beats John Jones, like, this would be an incredible feat. And if he retires, I'd be completely fine with that because Tom Aspinall, we just saw him knock out Sergey Pavlovich in the first round. Incredibly quick. Let's put this fight on. I'm very excited for that fight, and I think John Jones, if he wins that, I don't think there's any deny. You can't really deny him anything anymore. He is the GOAT. Yeah. Moving on. Number 6, striking versus wrestling. Islam versus Leon Edwards. I really like this fight. I actually am very excited. I think it will happen this year, if not next year. No, I see it happening this year. I think Makhachev gets impatient, and I think he might fight. I don't know. I can only see him fighting once this year, but if he does fight twice, I think he fights Leon. Obviously, Makhachev, this is a great fight, and one of the reasons why it's a great fight, especially for UFC fans, is I want to see if these Dagestanis, Islam and Khabib, I want to see if they're weight bullies or if they're just amazing at this game. And Leon Edwards, I think he's a really, really good striker. I think I think he is the next Kamaru Usman. I think he will have a ton of title defenses. Shavkat's obviously there, but I think this fight could go either way. I still see Islam winning. I think he out wrestles Leon, but I think Leon doesn't have the fight IQ to beat someone like Makachev. But you never know. This is a really close fight for me. I'm really excited, and I want to see Islam move up and get this awesome fight. Yeah, it's like what Makachev said. Like he can't top Khabib's legacy. Like it's pretty hard to top Khabib's legacy. Because he was the first. Islam wants to be the first at something. He wants to be the first Russian double champ. So I say, yeah, I agree with that. That is a very awesome fight. Let's get it done. Moving on, number 5. Someone's always got to go. Yeah, I think this is a really, really awesome fight. I think this has all been under our pillow for a little while now. Hamzat versus Shavkat. It's a very interesting fight. They're two hot prospects in both the divisions. Hamzat was in the welterweight division. I think he can make it again if he really wanted to. Like, if you got a real good nutritionist, like, he's made it before, he'll make it again. He is young as well. I think Shavkat and Hamzat, they're both... Well, Shavkat's got 17 finishes. He's a crazy fighter. Obviously, that Stephen Thompson win was a bit boring, but normally he's an amazingly interesting and fun to watch fighter. Same thing with Hamzat. This is an amazing fight all around. I don't know if the casuals will get into this one, but for MMA experts, this is the fight, you know? This is awesome. Moving on. Ireland versus Brazil part 2. This is my only Conor McGregor one because I don't think Conor has the same steam as he has ever had, as he did back in the day. No shit. But if this was to happen, if Conor was to come back, I think the biggest fight to make would be actually Charles Oliveira versus Conor McGregor. Islam is up there as well. I'm going to do Charles Oliveira just because Ireland versus Brazil part 2 is awesome. Especially if they do like a worldwide tour. Charles Oliveira, he's one of he's a fan favorite fighter. He's one of my favorite fighters. Yeah, how can you not say that we were all excited for this fight back in 2022 before he fought Islam. So yeah, it was a great call out as well. I want this fight to happen. I think it'd be massive. And you know what? They're both explosive in the first round. Charles Oliveira comes out there, he knocks people down. He doesn't just go for the takedown and then just win off that. He's onto it. He gets into that fight and he pushes it. And he's never had a not entertaining fight for the last couple years. I've never seen a Charles Oliveira fight that's boring. And same thing with Conor McGregor. I actually think people don't realize how entertaining Conor is. Even when he loses, when he lost to Dustin twice, when he beat Cowboy Cerrone, when he fought Khabib, the Diaz fights, everything that Conor has done has been entertaining, especially the Diaz fight. Diaz 2, one of the greatest fights of all time. So how can you deny this fight happening, especially if Conor beats Chandler? I say we go to Brazil. We do it in Charles Oliveira's hometown. It's only right. And I think you put Conor in there and it would be pretty sweet. Yeah, moving on. Yeah, the final chapter. Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya 5. It's a big fight. It needs to happen. I don't know what weight class. I think if Izzy wins back the championship, 195, put it in the middle. If Izzy doesn't win back the championship, middleweight championship, put it at 205. Just have it there because Alex is the champ. It needs to happen. I need to have a conclusion to the story. It's going to be a great trilogy in MMA. And number 5 is the perfect way to conclude it. Yeah, let's get this fight done. Especially if Adesanya gets the title, just get it done. It's a perfect fight. If it was on UFC 300 as the headliner, I'm completely fine with that. If it was, I don't think it's going to be. I don't think Israel deserves it right now, but Izzy, if he does win the middleweight title and this fight happens at 195, I think it's bigger than most fights. I think it's the biggest fight you can make in the UFC outside the top two, which are really they're fights that have been speculated to happen, but somewhat unrealistic. Moving on, number two, legacy. George St. Pierre versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. There have been rumblings recently that George St. Pierre has been getting ready and Khabib got offered a fight. I don't see it happening. I don't see Khabib coming back. But you know what? George St. Pierre versus Khabib Nurmagomedov at a middleweight. Middleweight's massive. God, half of these are at middleweight. Middleweight's just popping off right now. But yeah, middleweight about I can see this happening. If Khabib ever says yes to it, George will say yes to it. I kind of know because Dana would pay a ton for it. Apparently the offer that they gave to Khabib was like $40 million or something like that. It was something outrageous. Definitely a massive fight and should happen. Hopefully, because Khabib's got to get to 30. Although I don't like Khabib's performances other than I do like Islam and how he fights. I don't really like how Khabib fought, but how can you deny that him getting to 30-0 would be pretty awesome, or GSP beating Khabib? I think if GSP beats Khabib, let me know down below, but I'd probably say that he's the GOAT. Yeah, no, screw John Jones. He would be the GOAT for me if he beat Khabib. Moving on. I think we all know what a super fight is. This would be. I look at the comments whenever someone talks about this, and it's like, hey, this would be the first pay-per-view I ever bought. Like, this is the fight. It's the GOAT. It's the greatest of all time versus the baddest man on the planet. This fight's even bigger now that Francis just beat Tyson Fury. I'm not gonna say he lost to Tyson Fury because he didn't. We all saw the fight. Clearly won. He knocked him down. Tyson did a few jabs. He outstruck him, but the strikes that Ngannou did were a lot heavier. Look at the two faces. Moving on from that fight, this is an amazing fight. I don't even care how it goes. This is like scary for both of them. Like Francis, if he wants to prove that he's the best heavyweight of all time, the baddest man on the planet, he has to beat John Jones. And if John Jones wants to prove that he's the GOAT of all sports, you gotta beat the scariest man on the planet, the baddest man on the planet, Francis Ngannou, the former heavyweight champion of the world, and the current, in my opinion, boxing heavyweight champion of the world. Let's be real. Yeah, that's all I have to say. You guys know. I hope you like this breakdown of the top 10 fights for 2024 for super fights. Let me know which ones you guys want, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you. Bye.